On the whole, board game rulebooks suck. And to date, there are still lots of publishers who do not include reference cards for the games that you're playing, which is really frustrating and makes you look like a chump at the table as you're trying to look up everything. And over the last several years of working on the Cardboard Herald, doing tons of board game stuff, and just being a hobbyist myself, I have gotten into the habit of making reference cards, something that I think everyone should be doing, putting these conveniently inside of the board games themselves so you can refer back to them. Is this a revolutionary idea? No, not really. But is it something that I think everyone in this hobby should be doing? Yes, absolutely. Here's what I do. I take one of these standard index cards, the kind that you'd prepare for a final in high school with, and I just write the title of the game on top, and then if I have any particularly tricky sequences of rules, then I put those as a reference on here, such as the Black Market Reset in Architects of the West Kingdom, which if anyone's played that game, you know that you need a convenient rule reference, and it's not anywhere to be found in the game, especially if you're playing with the expansion, which I conveniently use different colored markers for. And then I also have an FAQ on the side. If I ever run into a situation where I'm looking up a rule on BGG, and I can't be the only one that's had to do this in games, then I put that on here, because if I looked it up once, chances are I'm going to be looking it up again. And then finally, iconography reference. Yeah, it shouldn't be on me to make this, but here we are. This isn't even on the back of the rule book. So why do I think you should be doing this? Well, I'll give you 3 reasons. First off, it's going to get you playing the games so much quicker if you have a rules refresher. If you're like me, you have a big collection, you got a lot of games in it, and when you take it out, even if you're pretty confident on most of the rules, there's going to be something that you're like, oh man, what was that again? There's some weirdness. I'm looking at you, ports in Game of Thrones 2nd edition. Second, it's going to save a lot of time from having to flip through the rule book constantly to look up that obscure or weird rule that you know is in there somewhere, but you're not quite sure where it is, or looking it up on BGG because you saved at one point the clarification that you needed. And 3, it's going to allow you to more creatively immerse yourself in a hobby. Again, if you're like me, you really kind of make your hobbies your personality, and that's okay. And one way that I show continued involvement and appreciation for board games is doing creative, crafty things with them. And you can get really artistic with this. I mean, clearly I am not getting really buck wild, but I did add a little bit of flair, a little bit of color. You don't have to do that, but it allows you to do something with your games that's a very low cost, low barrier to entry with a lot of room for growth in how you want to approach this, and is something that doesn't require the same level of skill or depth or financial cost as, say, printing new inserts, painting miniatures, other cool things that are definitely worth doing, and I've done. All of that said, if you want an alternative to this that's much more professional, though maybe less custom and a little bit less crafty, you can go to the Esoteric Order of Gamers, who have brilliant rules references that have been professionally put together and tested by gamers. They are definitely worth supporting. I've used them myself, and you should always have that in your back pocket as something to check out. But this is something that I've gotten in the habit of, and I don't know what really started it, but I don't think that I've seen anyone else do it either. So I figured it might be worth sharing. So let me know, is this something that you've done or you've considered, or are you going to start doing it now? I think it's very fun, it's very easy, and it is something that has been personally helpful to me, so I hope it's going to be for you. Thanks for watching. I've been Jack for the Cardboard Herald.